theme song. Hello, everyone, and once again, welcome back to the Phantom Zone. I'm your host, Edgar, here with your other host, Steven.
Woo!
Ooh, and this is another week of Spooktacular because it's still October. This October has more weeks than I anticipated.
Yeah, this was... I don't know why I thought it would just be 2, but I was pretty sure.
Right? It feels like this is way too much Spooktacular.
Yeah.
But we'll keep it rolling. All right, so you just want to go into the news?
Sure, I'll start us out.
All right, what you got for us?
So, weirdly, there wasn't that much news.
No.
Or at least major news.
Which is weird, because Comic-Con was...
Yeah, New York Comic-Con.
This week.
I guess nobody cares.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Anyway, the first thing I have is that Bryan Cranston, or as I have it written down on my piece of paper, B. Cranston.
B. Cranston.
That's what he's known as now. He said that he wants to play Mr. Sinister in the X-Men movies.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't like it very much.
You don't like him?
No, I like him.
Oh.
I just don't think he could play Mr. Sinister.
Oh. I don't know who Mr. Sinister is, so why don't you give me a brief
Mr.
synopsis?
Sinister is a man named Nathan Essex, who was born in the Victorian age.
Mm-hmm.
And he was obsessed with science and mutation. And then one day Apocalypse shows up and he's like, "Sup, bruh?" And hey, give me powers and stuff. And Apocalypse is like, "Sure, why not?" And so he gives him powers and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And then he proceeds to be one of the X-Men's greatest villains.
For all time?
Yeah.
Cool.
But the reason that I don't think it could work is because Nathan X, blah, 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 Mr. Sinister is very ripped and looks very young.
Oh.
Because he's immortal. So he will always look young.
Yeah.
I think if they were going to do this, what they could do is have him play Nathan Essex in the Victorian age. Yeah. And have him be a scientist who's aging and doesn't want to die. And so he goes to Apocalypse and it's hey, give me powers and stuff.
And then he gives him powers and stuff. And
exactly.
Then they get someone younger to play him later
then
on?
they CGI what Mr. Sinister looks like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe. That might work.
Yeah.
But I guess, is Mr. Sinister supposed to be in the movies, in the coming movies?
I don't know yet.
Or is he just saying he would like to be?
He would like to if they were to cast him.
So there's no mention of a Mr. Sinister being.
Although they should, because he is, like I said, one of their main villains.
Although for the last 4 movies, Magneto was the most important.
It's Magneto. That's the only villain the X-Men have, according to the movies.
Exactly. So it makes it a little hard to grab newer villains.
Yeah, but that's the good thing about it.
Yeah, they have room and time.
Yeah,
I have a feeling X-Men is not going to go away for a long time.
Absolutely not.
So they have plenty of time to come up with Mr. Sinister somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the thing. James Gunn apparently did a Q&A on his Facebook page.
Oh, cool.
Not a lot was talked about, but he mentioned that Guardians of the Galaxy will have at least one new character.
Ooh, who do you think that'll be?
Since
you know more of Guardians than I do.
Probably, my guess would be Adam Warlock. Especially that's who the fans want.
Yeah, and the whole Easter egg of his cocoon being with the Collector and everything.
And he's already said that Peter Quill will be the only human on the team. So it can't be Nova.
That's true.
So
all right.
There are probably some other people like Captain Universe.
How
or
about
something.
Howard
the Duck? That would be pretty
Howard
great.
Will be in it?
I would be very happy if Howard the Duck was.
Because I feel like that would be a pretty good addition.
Yeah.
But I would like to see either Warlock or Howard.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 choices.
And it could be a lot of people actually. It could just be Yondu. He could be a full-time member.
That pen, his flute trick.
Oh, the arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing is so cool.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
Where all those people just stand still and let him kill him.
He teases it a lot.
Yeah.
And then to finally see it in action and see how powerful he is so cool.
And you're sitting there like, oh, he's dead. No. Yondu, no. And then...
Because they did set that up for him to die a hero's death. But no, he's just a badass and killed everyone. So maybe Yondu would be a good choice?
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems too rowdy compared to the Guardians.
That's true. Like, he wouldn't follow Peter Quill's orders.
No, he would just kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good addition to the Guardians team. Never mind.
It could be Captain Marvel.
Maybe. Did you hear about that? How when Joss Whedon was writing Age of Ultron, he actually had Captain Marvel showing up at the end.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
And then they wrote that out as like, that's no way to introduce her as a character.
Yeah, which is dumb.
But it would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, they just need to do it already. I'm getting real annoyed.
It's getting real tired of your shit, Marvel.
All I need is like a casting. All I need is for them to go, Emily Blunt, Captain Marvel. That's all I need. And I'll be good. I'll be good for the next 4 years.
4 years.
Of never seeing her.
I feel like if they cast her, they will show her somewhere along the line in the next 4 years.
Yeah, they have to.
They're not going to wait until...
Yeah. Well, she'll probably show up in like...
Infinity War?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely in that. So they have to introduce her before that movie comes out.
That's true.
Also, did you hear that Ronda Rousey is still like campaigning to get that role?
Yeah.
She's got like a 4-year plan now.
She's very adamant about it.
Yeah. I still don't think it's a good idea.
She has the face for it.
Yeah.
Like I saw a side-by-side picture of her and Captain Marvel. They look super the same. They're very similar looking.
But...
Yeah, her acting. Yeah, whatever. Details. She can get acting coaches.
That's true. She's got 4 years to do it, so.
Yeah, she has the time, and if she has the dedication, she can definitely step up to the role.
Yeah. I think she could do it, but my vote is still for Emily Blunt. Even if she says she doesn't know who that is and has nothing to do with it. I don't care. I'm still hopeful.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Just one more piece of news.
All right.
But it's really making me happy.
Ooh.
Why the Last Man is being made into a TV show by FX.
Yeah. FX has some pretty good shows.
Yeah, they've made good shows. So I am super excited for this.
Cool.
This is one of my favorite comic books of all time.
I think I read the first 2 volumes.
Yeah.
The first 2 books.
I gave those to you.
Yeah.
Because that's how I collect comics. I buy them, I finish them.
And then he gives them to me.
Yeah. I give them to anybody, and then do you want these back? Nah.
I thought I gave you back, but I can't remember if I did or not.
Maybe.
They're somewhere.
Yeah.
They exist somewhere between either your home or my home.
Probably. Or anywhere in between, because I've lived a lot of different places.
That's very true. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, out of our personal lives.
My only issue is there were some themes in the book that seemed a little too adult, but they were important.
Well, it's an FX show, and they had a show called Sons of Anarchy, which was about a white supremacist biker gang.
All right, so then, okay, FX will be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Why the Last Man will be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Do we have a date? Or
not
release?
Yet, no? But it has been confirmed that this is actually happening.
Good.
Which is very happy because this is actually originally was going to be made into a movie.
Well, I wouldn't have liked it as a movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to capture everything.
Yeah, because the thing about Why the Last Man is it spanned for so long.
Yeah.
And it gave you time to develop the characters and feel for the situation.
Exactly.
In a movie, you have to condense all of that in 2 hours.
It's like a 60-issue run of like 3. I don't know how many years that would be.
A decent amount.
Yeah, something like that. 5 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that many years.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And so a TV show is great because you can flesh them out every episode every week.
And actually, if they wanted to keep the show going, there's a lot of things in the comic books. Mm-hmm. Like when an issue finishes and the next one starts, there's like a little bit of a gap. where they talk about like, oh, that crazy group of marauders, that was crazy. You could actually like show stuff like that if you wanted to keep the show going.
You could flesh it out a lot more. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Ampersand, the monkey.
Oh yeah.
Do you think CGI or real?
Oh, I want to say real.
I want to hope real.
Yeah.
Because CGI would just be weird.
Yeah.
But I really hope it's real.
Yeah.
That would feel so much better.
I feel like CGI would cost way more.
Yeah, but it might be easier.
Yeah.
Because here you have to find a trained monkey.
There are quite a few trained monkeys. You could get the one from Friends.
I don't think that monkey's still alive.
That's a good point. If it is, it's very old.
20 years.
Yeah.
I don't think monkeys live that long.
Now I'm sad.
Don't fact check me on that, because I'm not sure. I haven't studied the lifespan of monkeys. Yeah. But I don't think they live more than 20 years.
They live on the TV shows they work on.
How long did Friends last?
Like 10 years? I don't remember.
I might give it some
lasted
pretty good
a while.
life source.
Yeah.
I might give that monkey pretty good.
Plus reruns all day.
That's true.
So that monkey is like infinite.
Yeah. Speaking of reruns, my dad and I were watching TV, and we watched 2 episodes. One of Seinfeld, and one of Everybody Hates Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah, that's the one. I was watching that last night, actually, which is why that was on my mind. But Everybody Loves Raymond. Show. And my dad fell in love with them, but he didn't know what they were. And I was so confused as to how I just watched those shows like 2 years ago was when I fully watched all of those shows. Knew more about it than my dad, who grew up in the time of those shows.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, but oh well. Now he's in love with them and he's watching all of them. At
least with Seinfeld, that show was like all of pop culture.
Yeah, when we were watching that show, he's like, Edgar, what's this show called? I was like, it's Seinfeld. And he's like, I'm going to have to go watch it now.
Yeah, like I never really watched that show, but I know so much about that show.
It's actually a pretty good show.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. Good. It has some pretty good moments. My English teacher described it as Friends without the hugging or the kissing.
People consider that like the greatest comedy of all time.
I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but it's definitely up there. It's one of the greatest. It's definitely one of the greater sitcoms to come out.
Clearly, the greatest sitcom of all time was Married with Children.
Yeah, I never watched that show.
Or was it My Wife and Kids? I don't remember. There were 2 shows very similar.
Full House.
Full House, yep.
Have you heard anything about the remake
I haven't.
They were supposed to make?
I know. I've heard. I can't wait for that.
I haven't heard much about it. I remember there was a period of time at some point during this year where it was the biggest news story ever.
Yeah.
Like everyone was commenting on how it was coming out, and there were so many news stories about it. And it just kind of fell off the face of the planet. I haven't heard about it in months.
The last thing I heard was that God, I can't even remember his name. The guy who played Uncle Jesse, that he's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember I read a news story about this couple that were taking pictures outside of the Full House, like where they were.
Oh, I've heard this story too. Yeah.
Uncle Jesse was in the background.
Yeah.
But they were too much paying attention to taking pictures that they didn't pay attention to the fact that Uncle Jesse was behind them.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, same.
All right.
So you remember when we were talking about the news?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
I don't know.
I ran out of news.
Ran on a tangent about sitcoms somewhere along the way.
Anyway, do you have any news?
I have an esports update, I guess.
Ooh.
Like League of Legends, their championship series, World Championship series is still going on. But they finally got out of the group stage. And unfortunately, all of the North American teams have been eliminated.
Dang.
And it's pretty sad because we had some really good contenders. Like we had CLG, who was the underdog, the rookies that we were hoping for. And they won their first 2 games pretty well. And then they lost the rest of the 4 pretty badly.
Dang it.
And then we had TSM, who had a really rough beginning. They were 1-2, and then they lost everything else. Actually, I think they might have won one and then lost everything else. And then C9, who had an impressive first week, going 3-0, and then losing the rest of their games. And so, yeah, all of the North American teams are out, but there are some still pretty good contenders in the game. SKT and Fnatic are the ones I'm rooting for. And that all wraps up this week. The first stage of knockouts happens. And then next week is semifinals. And then the week after that, on Halloween, is is the final. So I guess we'll see what happens then.
If only there was a team named after, like, a ghost.
A ghost team?
Yeah. Like, that would be perfect, because then they would have to win.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think there is.
Damn. There should be.
I feel like...
Let's form a team right now. Call it Spooky Ghost.
Spooky Ghost?
And we'll go and win.
And we can only play with champions that have spooky skins.
Exactly.
Like, there's this pirate guy named Gangplank, and he's got a skin called Spooky Gangplank, and he's literally just a transparent version of himself.
Okay, so you'll play him. I'll play... what's that, the mummy?
The Mumu?
Yeah, I'll play him.
A Mumu. Poor Mumu. He's so sad.
I'll play the emo version of him.
Emomu?
Yes.
Emumu?
Emomu.
Emumu sounds like he should be an emu.
That's
like
true.
Emu. Anyway.
So
speaking of ghost and spooky stuff, what are we talking about this week?
Ghosts and spooky stuff.
Yeah! More specifically, just ghost stuff.
Yeah, ghosts, spirits, specters, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. So
Spooks.
how do we want to do this?
Okay, let me first start off with this.
All right.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do, but I don't. It's kind of a weird, I believe they're out there, and I believe people have experiences. But in my recent years, where I'm more conscientious about this stuff happening, it never happens to me. Yeah. So it's hard to keep that faith in them. How about you?
Absolutely. I'm Native American.
That's true.
I have to believe. It's the law.
I believe in the stories, but I haven't had an occurrence happen to me while I'm sane, or like in a spot where I'm actually observing stuff.
Okay.
So it makes it kind of hard for me to fully believe.
Well, that eliminates my next question of have you ever experienced spooky things?
I have, but see, that's the point where they're memories from when I was a kid, which makes it kind of weird. But yeah, I have had some. Those are actually some of my stories. Like, for example, one time, and this isn't actually a story that I saw, but apparently I did, is my parents came home from work one day, and I was like 2, and they came home, and I was sitting on the floor playing with my toys, and I look up at them and I said, I guess Grandpa has to go now. And they're like, wait, what? And apparently my grandfather had just died a week before that. And so according to them, I was playing with my grandfather's ghost.
Creepy.
Yeah. How about you?
Yes, I have.
Any recent ones? Or
not recently.
From your childhood?
From my childhood.
All right.
Let's hear one. So this is I've always been skeptical as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is because I was so young and they were playing a trick on me, or if it was because of the white people around. I'll put that in context in a second. All right. But so I don't know if it was actually a spirit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I went to my first sweat lodge, mm-hmm. a Native American sweat lodge.
Yeah.
Which is where you go in this little tarp thing, this dome looking thing, and you put rocks in the middle and you pour hot rocks and you pour water on them to make steam.
Yep.
To make you sweat and sweat out all the bad stuff, and then you pray for loved ones past and alive. Mm-hmm. And nobody ever left besides me because I was young, so I'd need to get out in between rounds just to cool down a little bit. But other than me, no one left. It was just everyone stayed inside, and I would crawl over people to get out. And then the final round came, because it consists of like 9 rounds. Mm-hmm. And so I got back in. They closed the thing. No one had gotten out yet, as I said. Mm-hmm. But when you do a sweat, you have to leave offerings. Yeah. And so they left a can of Coke, a candy bar, and some tobacco. Mm-hmm. And like during the round, it starts, and then all of a sudden, like I hear like a can opening. And I'm just like, what the hell was that? And then someone starts talking, and it's a voice I didn't recognize. And I recognize everyone's voice because obviously we've been talking this whole time.
It would be pretty close
at
that point.
And it just starts talking, and it says that it's a spirit. Oh. And it's like, oh, this little Wachinchula, it's your first sweat. I'm like, yeah. Wachinchula means child in Lakota. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, oh, this is your first sweat. And I'm like, yeah. Like, are you thirsty? Like, a little. And so it's like, do you want some Coke? And I'm like, sure. And so I reach my hand out, and out of nowhere, there's a Coke in my hand.
Oh, goodness.
And yeah. So it just sits there and talks with us for a while.
Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah.
Wait, did the other people hear it too?
Yeah.
They were also... Ooh, that's even more cool.
Yeah. And like, I gotta keep the can. I don't have it anymore, sadly.
Aw, that sucks.
But
that would have been a really cool memento to have.
Yeah. If there are any other Native Americans who listen to this, maybe you can tell me if that was a real thing or like the person running it just fucking with me.
All right. You mentioned at the beginning of this all the white people around.
Yeah.
What does that have to...
Oh, well, you know...
You were going to explain it.
Because white people like a big spectacle, you know? That's not me being racist, that's just true. But, you know, like, people generally, when they think of Native Americans, they think, like, hokey, crazy spirit thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so there were, like, white people there, because he runs it for whoever wants to come. Mm. It was my... family. I don't remember what my relationship is to him.
Okay.
I think my mom said he's like my great uncle or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, he's run it out on our family land for a while.
That's pretty cool.
And so yeah, I don't know if it was just like him doing that for their entertainment and mine, or if that was real. So
it would be cool for it to be real.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Because
that sounds pretty cool. I mean, you got a Coke out of it.
Yeah, and like I said, no one left besides me, and I definitely didn't go grab it.
Yeah, you would have been...
I didn't just like, hey, Steven, you want a Coke? Sure.
Yeah, well, that's a really cool story.
Yeah. And just so like people know, because like just so it wouldn't be like, oh, why couldn't you see it or anything? It's first off, it's at nighttime, and the blankets covering it are so thick, it's just pitch black in the sweat lodge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I feel like if you had been able to see,
you
would have seen the person.
If it was daytime, I could clearly just see like someone standing up, like, ooh,
I'm a ghost.
But I didn't I didn't hear anybody move. I didn't obviously I couldn't see anything.
You just heard the...
Yeah, I just heard a can open and then he was there.
Huh. You stole a Coke from a ghost.
He gave it to me. I offered it back and he said I could keep it.
All right. Wait.
Because I was...
Do spirits even drink Coke?
Oh, yeah.
Do they?
Probably.
Is this common knowledge that I'm missing?
It's a Native American ghost. Native Americans love Coke. That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right. I believe you.
That was my big experience. That's obviously really
I've
had weird things where something is on the counter and then it'll fall off.
Yeah, and I've had those too.
Yeah.
One specific one where this was back when I lived in Mankato. And we lived in this trailer park home thingy. And I was sitting in my computer. And a few feet away on the opposite side of the room was this stand where we kept the TV. And my mom would always put her sunglasses on top of the TV. And I remember one time I was playing on the computer. And then all of a sudden the sunglasses just fly at me. And hit me. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I know I was alone. I knew I was alone. There was no one around. So I was like, what the fuck? Okay, that was weird. So I went over and I picked up the glasses and I put them back on the TV. And just as I'm turning around to go back to my computer, boom, they fly at me again and just hit me. And I was around 10 at the time. So, like, I was still young, but I still have a pretty good memory of this. I just remember it happened like 3 more times to the point where I just gave up and I just put them at my computer. I was like, you're staying right there. No more over there.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was ever really a ghost that was bothering me, but it was annoying.
Yeah. Or just like a mouse.
Just the mouse.
The mouse from Ratatouille.
Just picking up I'm imagining just a little tiny buff mouse picking up my mom's sunglasses, chucking them at me, and then hiding behind the TV to see what I was doing. Anyway.
Yeah. So I think my grandma, when she was alive, she would tell me like all these crazy stories that happened to her, because she lived on the reservation and places close to the reservation most of her life. And this one wasn't on a reservation, so I don't know why I said that. But she told me back when she was younger and like my mom and my uncle were little kids, they lived in Bismarck, North Dakota. And they were like living in this duplex, and like one night they just hear the neighbors like fighting, like things getting smashed around, people yelling, and she's like, what the hell is this? So she calls down to like the security, and she's like, hey, it sounds like the neighbors are getting into a really bad fight. Someone might be hurt. You should check or call the police. And so he's like, okay, I'll call you back. And so, like, he gets some people to come over, the police or other security guards, and they check the room. Nobody's there.
Oh.
Like, the house is fine. And they later find out that the people living there had been on vacation for the last week.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's spooky. You know, I think those kinds of ghost stories are my favorite. The ones where ghosts will mess with you.
Yeah.
And then lead you to somewhere where it's, like, it's been abandoned or it's just broken.
Where they've been dead for 10 years.
Yeah, like I was just reading a story earlier that's like when I gasped and I was like, ooh, that was spooky. Was about this guy who, like, he's in his late 30s and he gets a phone call from an old friend from high school. And they talk for a while and they're like, hey, we should hang out sometime. And the friend from high school is like, yeah, sure, why not? But maybe we should meet at your place. And it's like, sorry, I live with my family. You really wouldn't be able to come over. It's like, all right, well, here's my address. Come visit me. Although it might be a bad idea. And so the guy walks over to the address that the guy gave him, and the entire house is burned down.
Oh shit!
And so the guy picks up his phone and calls back his friend. And it rings for like a while, and then it just sounds really distorted and hissy. And the guy on the other side says, I told you it might be a bad idea. And then he hangs up.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah. See, like, I like those kinds of ghost stories.
Why couldn't they have met at like a diner or something?
I don't know. Don't ask me about ghost
I probably would have met someone at a diner.
Yeah, well, you're not 30 yet. You don't know what it's like to be 30
I feel like
out with people.
I would absolutely take anyone new or old that I meet to a diner. Diners are the best.
Diners are the best.
Especially the one here in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
If anyone thinks they have the best diner in their town, you're wrong. Unless you live in Sioux Falls, then you're right.
You do have the best. Anyway, what's your favorite kind of ghost story?
I also enjoy those ones. Because like they're creepy, but no one gets hurt.
Yeah, that's true. No one's hostile towards anyone.
I talked about how Japanese horror movies are my favorite. I think their ghost stories are also my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, because they've got like real creepy ones. Like I talked about it. I think the first week of October when we were doing Urban Legends, and the ghost lady who walks on the bridge and asks you if you think she's pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, those are pretty creepy. I think I mentioned this one in Urban Legends as well, but like La Llorona, the weeping lady from Mexico.
I have that written down.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was going to talk about that, but you go ahead.
Okay, well, basically what it is, it's a story about this woman who, she had some kids with this man. And then she says, she's like, can we get married? And he's like, no, because you had kids out of wedlock, and that's not the kind of woman I want to marry.
Oh, what a dick.
Right? He's such an asshole.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, well, I'll get him to like me. And so she drowns her kids in the river.
Because that's how you get people to like you.
Yeah, and she's like, will you love me now? And he's like, no, because you're a psycho who murdered your kids. And so she spends eternity wailing for her kids. And so the way that they use it to scare kids is if you're out after night or you're awake past your bedtime or whatever, the Llorona will come and get you and take you in as her kid.
Yeah. It says in the video that I was watching, that I stole all my information from, it said that she'll wander, and if you're out past night and you look like her children, she'll drag you into a watery grave. Mm-hmm. Which is terrifying.
Yeah, like it's meant to scare kids and like keep you inside after night. So
and also it said that if you hear her crying, you are marked for death.
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty
cool. Well, there you go. Now you have a little bit of new information.
Cool.
Good for you, champ.
Yeah. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I've learned something. Damn.
Anyway, so we talked about horror movies last week.
Yeah.
And after that, I realized something about American horror movies.
What?
We have transitioned into what we think is scary because we talked about how horror movies depend on the country of what the scary thing is.
Cultural reflection of what people are afraid of.
And I've noticed most of our major horror movies in the 80s were serial killers.
Yeah.
Like Jason or Freddy, Michael Myers, stuff like that.
Yeah, because in the 80s, it was a really prominent time for serial killers.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird if you think about it. The fact that between the, I want to say 75 and 93, some of the biggest hitters in serial killer culture were prominent, were running around.
Which one do you think killed Disco? I'm sorry.
God damn it. God, Stephen. Damn it.
Anyway, but the reason I wanted to bring this up...
killed the radio star.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to bring this back up is because if you look at all the major horror movies now, they're all about ghosts.
Are they?
Yeah.
It's been kind of that way since the 90s with Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it started shifting to ghosts.
But you have Paranormal Activity. There was that new movie, The Gallows. The Babadook is kind of a ghost.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of them like that.
There's that new Crimson Peak?
Yeah, I can't wait for that movie.
That looks really good.
That looks so good.
But yeah, you're right. We have transitioned into something that's more ghost, something that you can't actually fight back through fighting back.
Yeah.
It's not easy to fight a ghost because it's not physically there.
Yeah. Do you think that has something to do with technology advancing? We're getting deep again.
Oh shit. It's possible
because now that technology is advancing and we're basically becoming cell phones, there's something out there that we can't control
through the use of technology.
Yeah.
Possibly because there was this recent movie, Unfriended.
I don't know if
you heard of it.
I've seen that. It was all right.
It was all right.
I
didn't see it, but I heard about it, and I thought it would have a really interesting premise.
It's definitely worth a watch.
All right, well, I'll check it out. But that movie uses technology in an interesting way, where a ghost has access to your technology, and it's not just one person's technology; it's everyone's technology. Yeah. This ghost is omnipresent in these people's lives.
Yeah. There's a scene in there. I don't want to spoil too much.
All right.
But there's a point where because the whole point is that it's they tell you this in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's the ghost of this girl who committed suicide after a video leaked.
Yeah, it was like she was humiliated or something, and then she killed herself.
And so she's after revenge of these this group of people who were the worst to her, I guess.
Yeah, I think they were the ones who leaked the video.
There were people who leaked the video. There were people who just did general wrong things to her. And after the first girl dies, they call the police, and the dude is on the phone and he's got it on speaker, and throughout the whole time the ghost is saying, "Don't end the call, don't hang up, don't leave." And then he gets on the phone with the police and he's like, "Yeah, blah blah blah," talking about what happened, and she's like, "Okay, don't hang up." And then she just starts repeating that.
All right.
And then you realize, oh shit, it's the ghost.
Oh.
And it's actually really fucking creepy.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Yeah. That reminds me of...
Yeah, that movie's definitely worth a watch.
In Oculus, we brought this up, I think last week as well.
Yeah.
Or in the WWE
that's right.
episode.
The perfect place to talk about it.
But in Oculus, something similar happens where they find out that the... Because in this one, it's a mirror ghost thingy demon... who can she controls your perception of reality, and so at one point they try calling the police, but it ends up being the demon taking over the voice of the police, asking them to just go back inside the house so that it can, and they're outside its sphere of influence on them, but it's still controlling their phones somehow. And they can't trust their phone anymore because she's receiving the signals and changing them to what she wants them to be.
Yeah.
And those stories scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, because it seems like nowadays technology is our sense of security. It's our proverbial security blanket.
Yeah.
So when something fucks with that, it's terrifying.
That's true.
Especially something that came from essentially the Dark Ages. That's where, the ideas of ghosts came from.
Yeah.
The olden times, the time before the internet.
Yeah, and it's to have something that's so primitive yet powerful, who's something that's transcended everything we've worked towards.
And something you can't see.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Although when you see them...
Ghosts are terrifying. I'm scared now.
Don't worry, we don't have a ghost in this room. Connor never wrote on that piece of paper.
That's true.
Apparently we have a studio ghost named Connor. And we asked him to write a piece of paper, and Steven clicked the pen so that Connor wouldn't have to work too hard.
Yeah. Because everyone knows ghosts can't put too much pressure on things.
Yep. God damn it. All right.
Anyway, so yeah, let's move on. I've got two other ghosts.
All right.
That I want to talk about.
What you want to talk about?
Okay, so I forgot to write down the name of this ghost.
God damn it.
But basically, it's this woman named Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Bathing.
Well, there you go. You did write her name down.
There, I didn't write the ghost name down. I wrote her name down. But yeah, Melissa is apparently a woman who is bathing in a river, and some strange man came up and was like, "Hey, your husband's cheating on you with your mom."
Oh.
And so she was like, "Oh shit."
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That seems like an odd premise for a story, but all right.
Anyway, so she's like, "Oh shit, fuck that asshole," and my mom, who's also an asshole. And so she goes home to find her husband and her son sleeping. And instead of "Hey, we should talk. Did you sleep with my mom?" She's like, "No, I'm gonna kill them both and burn the house down."
Oh, all right. Why do these ghost stories, especially with women, tend to just resort to the most extreme at the very beginning?
Yeah.
There's never any other course of action. It's always just if someone's wronged me, just straight up kill them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably because this comes from, once again, olden times.
Yeah.
Where women be crazy.
That's true.
So
women
that's probably
crazy.
Where. I don't know why. I had to cross my arms for that.
He was just like, women be crazy.
Anyway, so after that, she goes to her mom's house. And she's like, "Fuck you, mom." And she starts killing her mom.
Oh, God.
And her mom's like, "I curse you."
Ooh.
So now, apparently, Melissa, the ghost Lissa, I'm assuming that was the ghost name, walks around on roads searching and killing unfaithful husbands. Searching for and killing unfaithful husbands.
So wait, was it ever proven that it had happened?
No.
No? So then why is she killing unfaithful husbands?
Because her mom cursed her.
She should be killing crazy psychotic women who want to kill their unfaithful husbands.
Or dudes who spread rumors.
Yeah, because it's all that guy's fault.
He just like walked up and like, oh, you're Melissa? Your mom's sleeping with your husband.
How do we know it wasn't Melissa B from the other side of the street?
Exactly. There could have been a completely other Melissa.
It's like, hey, who are you? Oh, I'm Melissa. Oh, I heard about a Melissa whose husband was cheating on her. And it's like, are you sure it's me? It's like, I don't know. It was just a Melissa. So probably. I'm just going around to every Melissa and telling them.
This is moral of the story: don't spread rumors, or you will create murderous ghosts.
Yeah. But, I mean, that guy went off scot-free.
Yeah.
Unless he cheats on his wife, in which case then he's screwed. But besides that guy's fine.
Yeah.
He created a murderer's psychopath ghost.
Yeah.
And he's going to be all right. Well, he's probably dead at this point, but...
Also, he's some creepy dude who walks up to women bathing in rivers.
He deserves to die.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on to my other ghost. Mm-hmm. Since you took my first one.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. There's this thing called a Chinese water ghost.
Uh-huh.
And it's people in China who have committed suicide by drowning.
Ooh.
And basically, when you pass over their body of water, like to go swimming, they will grab you by the leg and drag you under to where you die, and they take over your body.
Oh, God.
And not only that, but if you die this way, you'll become a Chinese water spirit.
Oh, God.
And want to do the same thing to other people.
But what if you can't get any deeper? What if someone pulls you down all the way to the bottom, and now you can't pull them any deeper to the bottom?
Well, then, as long as they drowned, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's not like a race?
No.
It's not like the cursed machine thingy? There's this story about the devil. He comes up and he gives this man a machine that makes money, right? And he's like, all right, you get to keep this machine, but if you die in its possession, you have to, you'll go to hell.
Oh.
So you have to sell the machine to someone, but you can't sell it for more than what I'm giving it to you. And he gave it to him for like $1,000. So basically the point of the story is like, that guy will be fine. But it's when you get down to like, the guy with 2 cents.
Oh, yeah.
He's never going to be able to sell it. Because no one's going to buy it at 1 penny, because they will never be able to sell it for less than a penny. And so it's kind of like that story where like it creates a chain of people. Where
couldn't you sell it for free or like give it away?
No, you can't give it away for free. You have to sell it. But you have to sell it for less than what you got it.
What if you sell it for giving them money?
No, I don't think that's how it works.
What about a hay penny?
See, and that's they actually made a movie about it, where the guys actually went to other countries. But even in those countries, it's going to deplete to the point where there's no selling it below that value.
That's true.
And once you get to the second to last person, that person is not going to be able to sell it, because everyone will know that whoever buys it will not be able to sell it.
That's a good point.
And
that guy's fucked.
At the end of that movie, I think like a wife got a hold of it, and her husband bought it just to save her from it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sweet act, but I mean, he's in hell now for it.
That's true.
Yep. Anyway, that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea that a ghost can kill me and take my body if I just swim over its place of death.
Lesson
learned. How
learned.
am I supposed to know? They should really mark these places with like a buoy. It's like, don't float over this or you will die.
Ghost here.
What if that ghost, like, okay, let's say you're swimming over it and you get pulled down and you die and that ghost takes over your body, and then that ghost forgets and swims over your place and you just take your body back.
That's a good point. Like,
would you do that? Do you think that's possible?
Maybe, I suppose.
Because I think that would be a good way.
Yeah, or like when he's floating back up, and like he's trying to swim out, you quickly go, "Not today," and you pull him back down.
Oh no!
And then it's just like a constant fight for your body.
Yep.
That's terrifying.
I think at that point I would try to compromise with the ghosts. Like, you get Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I'll take it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Then we can switch every week.
And then like, okay, but I'll go first, and then you never come back.
Oh, what a bitch.
No, you do that. So you keep your body.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. I thought the ghost had said that, and I somehow willingly gave my body to a ghost because I was dumb. Yeah. That sounds like something I'd do, though. No, my battery. Why is my computer dying?
Oh, God. Everything's dying. Oh, it's the ghost.
It's the ghost of Crispy's past. Oh, that's why. The charger wasn't plugged in.
Good.
Everything's all right now, though. It'll be fine.
Anyway, so I think that's a good place to end it.
Wait. I had a story
you had a
Taylor Kaiser,
viewer story.
Who,
a listener story.
He sent me a story. Okay, I'm going to see if I can remember it. Because my phone's all the way over there. All right. This isn't... He didn't actually experience it, but he went traveling this last summer to different places in Wyoming, and he ended up staying in a mental hospital. He didn't stay at it, but he visited because of some sort of group or something studying there.
That's terrifying,
but he went to this mental hospital where apparently this nurse had been hung, or she hung herself, and now she walks around the hospital whenever. So I guess that's spooky.
That is pretty spooky.
Pretty spooky, if you ask me.
This is why you stay away from mental hospitals.
Yeah, mental hospitals have a rep of ghost stuff.
Yeah, like all of them.
Yeah.
Literally all of them.
You know, today I took psychology seminars for like 4 hours.
Fun.
And I learned why we kept so many people in mental hospitals. So
because
around
they were mental?
1940, 1945, around that time, we were just coming around to the idea that people had psychological disorders. And so we called them psychotics, right? Which is still a term we use. But we didn't know how to handle them. So we would just take anyone we thought was psycho and threw them into asylums. And that was it. And then we started learning that, okay, maybe not everyone is a psycho that deserves to be locked up.
Have you noticed how much, people jump to conclusion? That guy's a psycho. That lady's a witch. Burn her, throw him in an asylum.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, it's something that...
that guy's a communist.
It carries over...
I don't know what they did to communists.
Again, from our fear of outsiders.
Yeah,
if you notice, it's always people that are different from us that get thrown into these problems. Like in the witch hunts, it's like, oh my god, they're doing weird shit. I don't like it. Yeah. Burn them. Or fucking that guy is acting weird. I don't like it. Throw him into a room. Or oh my god, that guy's a communist. We got to eliminate every right he has for thinking of a different way, or even if he's just associated with someone who thinks a different way, he's also guilty of it. It just creates it's a form of hysteria, of cultural hysteria, where people are just terrified of outsiders, and so we create these fears and judge everyone on them. Again, I brought this up at another point, I can't remember, but there's a Captain America story where he went hysteria crazy. And he starts beating up people he thinks are communists, even though they're not. They're just people on the street, and he goes around just beating up random people. And that's why
Captain
they froze
America
him.
Does.
The American government was like, Captain America, you can't do this. And so they froze him, and when he woke up, he's like, all right, Red Scare's over. Yeah. We're good. But, yeah, hysteria is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with ghosts, or what
Ghosts cause hysteria.
Ghosts do cause hysteria. Especially for Steven and me now. We've actually analyzed ghosts.
There was a TV show called Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching. It was on Sci-Fi?
Was it? No, I think it was on, one of the non-basic cable channel.
Because it was a sci-fi-esque show where they gave them ghost hunting equipment and threw them in a haunted house.
Oh, no. That's a different show then.
You sure?
Yeah, because Celebrity Ghost Stories is just them sitting around and then talking about, ghost things that happen to them.
Oh, then what was I thinking? Because there was a sci-fi show where they would have celebrities and they would hook them up with ghost equipment and they would throw them all into a haunted house.
I feel like I also remember that show.
And they were basically doing a ghost hunters type thing, but with celebrities.
I remember that as well.
And it wasn't a good show, but it was all right. It was fun to watch.
It was a sci-fi show. Of course it wasn't good.
No, but sci-fi shows are really bad in production quality, but they're fun to watch sometimes.
And then sometimes they're just straight up bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, have you seen that show Z Nation?
I have not.
It's a zombie show.
I figured.
But it's pretty bad.
All right. So not check it out?
Don't check it out.
All right, will do. I mean, won't do.
Yeah.
Will not watch it. There you go. Clarifying.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, if you know what the hell my experience was, if that was real or not, email me.
Yeah. Just email Steven exclusively.
Yeah.
Don't email me. I don't care about that shit. No, but if you have any of your favorite ghost stories and you want to share with us, or you want to tell Steven what his steam lodge, sweat lodge experience was, whether it was just white people or a real ghost messing with white people and Steven. Let us know at welcometothephantomzone@gmail.com. Or
you can also tweet at us at WTTPZ on Twitter, obviously. Yep. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/WTTPZ.
Yep.
Or just search Welcome to the Phantom Zone podcast.
Yeah, and you'll find us. If you want to share us with your friends on different listening platforms, we have Libsyn, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, and we're now on YouTube. And we're going to be starting up a new series where basically it's us setting up for the show, and we're going to call it Pre-Stuff, and it's going to be on there on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube exclusive.
YouTube exclusive, so we're not going to put it on anywhere else. So if you want to check those out, those will be up pretty soon. Hopefully with this coming episode, we'll put it up. But I think that's it. Anything else? What are we talking about next week?
Shit, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's still Spooktacular. Spooktober. Yeah. Spooktober sounds better than Spooktacular.
That's true.
This is our
it's
third
too
week.
late. It's too late. We're already in Spooktacular.
Damn it. All right. Well,
Spooktacular Spooktober. There we go.
Spooktacular Spooktober Part 4 will be coming out next week. We'll figure out what to talk about. But if you have any spooky stuff, make sure to send us a message, email us, Facebook message us, do whatever you need to get a hold of us.
Share with your friends and family.
Yep. So that you don't become a ghost, just make sure you send us here. I'll create a chain letter through podcast. All right. So you've been touched by the Phantom Zone, and if you don't share us with 10 of your friends, you will yourself become a ghost and inhabit the Phantom Zone with us for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or eternity, because you'll be dead. So, it won't be the rest of your life. Anyway, I think that's all for this episode.
I think so.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, did you hear that?
Oh,
something fell. That was spooky.
All right, Phantom Ghost.
Connor!
Something strange in your neighborhood.